All right, so today we're going to take a break from dirt work and do a little fine tuning. So pretty decent here. Do a little fine tuning with the Galaxie. Kind of put myself into a spot once again, and I can't really pull in front of the shop and do the work because, well, now it's just a giant dirt pile, and I got stuff piled in the shop that I just went and picked up, that Cleveland motor and all. Actually, I don't think I ever done a video on that, did I? Huh. Maybe I'll do a video on that. Anyway, where was I at? We got some stuff to do with the Galaxie. Street and yeet is only like 2 weeks away, so let's change a couple things. Why not?
I'd say it's a nut job.
All right, so in the last video that we did with this car, we drove it around the block, still with the slicks on it, open headers and all that, and we determined that it did not like to put around. It wants to go. It's not very happy in that it idles around 1,000, and from that about 12 to 2,800 RPM range. It's just not a happy motor, and it likes to be above 3,000. I don't know if this is the answer to the problem, but it's the answer we're going to go with. So this car has always ran a MSD distributor and a MSD box. So I've done some of the work off camera already. I've disconnected the MSD box. It's no longer connected to anything. I've removed the MSD distributor that was in it, and I've replaced it with a standalone MSD. Now, if you've never fooled with this before, there's the Cliff Notes version is there's two different versions of an MSD setup you can run. One has a distributor and has a box that controls the distributor and tells the distributor what to do, and you can make adjustments and stuff through the box. Depending on what box you have, there's a ton of different stuff you can do. The other version is just like your stock points distributor or whatever. It's just a one unit that sits in here, and you have your coil wire run over to it, and that's it. I've switched because of one big reason. Now, this may not solve my problems, but I think it may. My MSD distributor is locked out, and it's that way because this car's always been a track car. I'm thinking that being locked out may be why it's not very happy at lower RPMs. So this standalone distributor has a swing to it, not a big swing. I've got some springs changed in there, so it doesn't have a large swing, but it still has a swing. But it has a vacuum canister on it, so we can add vacuum advance to the car. Will that help it? I don't know. Will that make it worse? I don't know. Right now, I'm just kind of trying to play with the idea. At the end of the day, if I need to, we just won't lug the car around. We'll keep the car in whatever gear it needs to be in to keep it at 3,000 RPMs and run it that way if we have to. I would prefer, just because it is a road trip and fuel is not the cheapest thing on the planet, I would prefer to be able to kind of dial that back and run it at a lower RPM. I'm going to, you know what, I'm not going to take this hood off. I'm just going to stick something in here like a prop rod because I don't need the hood off. Let me grab something because it's such a big deal to take the fiberglass hood off, right? This is probably somebody go ahead and push the 911 and don't hit send yet. I planned it that way. Yeah, let's get in here so you can see what I'm talking about. First off, it's getting new plug wires, plugs and all that. So don't ignore this mess right now. But right here is the vacuum canister on the side of it's the vacuum advance. It's what makes the vacuum advance work. And the old MSD distributor didn't have that. So I'm going to take that and hook that up to the carburetor and hook up the vacuum advance and give that a try to see if the car is happier at that point with that. Now, in theory, it's not necessarily how this works, and we're not going to go into all that. But I'm going to try it because not everything works like it's supposed to in theory. You know what I'm saying? So, going to go ahead and give that a try. I've got some vacuum line, and I got some vacuum line, and we'll hook in right here and go around. These two carburetors are turned sideways. If you think about them, if I was facing forward, this is the front and this is the rear. Your vacuum advance goes in the front up here on a port, and I'll show you that port when we get ready to hook it up. But we're going to give that a try and see if vacuum advance makes this thing a little more street friendly. The big message in all this is don't be afraid to try stuff. I mean, stuff like this is not going to hurt anything to give it a try. It's one of those things, let's try it, let's run around the block, let's see how it works. At the end of the day, we'll probably be doing a lot of tuning on this thing on the drive at Street and Yeet. Honestly, that's probably how this is going to go. We're going to do a lot of tuning then. But for initial setup, we're going to try this and see if it works. Try, a couple of little things like this. Only take a couple minutes, and then just move on. We want to get the exhaust today put in and have the exhaust on so that I can actually log some miles on this thing around here. So let's just try this. We'll see if it works. If it don't work, whatever the case may be, then we'll just move on to something different and see what that does. I also need to run, I may put in a summit order. I need to get more spark plugs too, because if you're going to read plugs and tune your engine by the plugs, you need plugs. You know what I'm saying? So I'm probably going to get a few sets of spark plugs too. We have made some changes to the carburetors, made some minor adjustments. Now, somebody's going to say something, because they always do. Yes, these carburetors perform great right out of the box. But if you're trying to get every minute little thing out of an engine and get it dialed in perfect, then yes, you may have to make some tweaks every once in a while. And quite honestly, when they built these carburetors, they didn't necessarily build it for some jackwagon like me to turn two of these big carburetors sideways and mount them on a top of an FE either. So, perspective. So we are going to get some plugs and put in it so we can read the plugs. But let's get this vacuum line hooked up. Okay, I've got some different size vacuum line laying around here. I think this is too big, so I think this is what we're going to go with. So, real quick, if you're observant, you will notice these two hoses look very different in color and all. What I am told is this type of hose is coated in something that stops it from decaying and breaking down. Well, and this is just regular hose. Now, I don't know if any of that's true. It's just stuff that I have laying around, but that's what I'm told. I think these are different sizes, and I think this is the size that I need right here. I really should have ditched the expansion tank on this thing years ago and not ran one anymore. But the problem was I'd already spent money on an aluminum radiator. And, well, I didn't want to have to buy another radiator. You know where I'm coming from. Okay. Just run that right through there like that. Bring it over. We're going to go to right under here. See if I can get you in here. Normally, well, it's going to take some effort to get you in here. Hang on. Okay. So normally you see two vacuum ports right there. Traditionally on like a Holly or whatever, one of those ports is higher up than the others. One's up high and one's down low. And you can tell which one you want to hook your vacuum to based off that. These seem to be side by side, so I need to look at the book and see if they're both doing the same thing or what the case may be. That's the idea anyway. I don't like how that hose is run. Here we go with stupid little stuff that bugs me. That hose is run over the top. I'm gonna take that hose and tuck it down and run it under everything, because silly shit like that bugs me. This is also a good time for me to talk about why I've done something. People have asked. I got fuel pressure gauges, and I've got 2 fuel pressure gauges out here where most people run 1. Well, yes, I have a reason for that. The way I've ran the lines is this line runs from the back of this bowl to the front of that bowl. Carburetor, dummy. From the back of this carburetor to the front of that carburetor, and this is from the back of this carburetor to the front of that carburetor. And that's a whole new, where my brain goes, I'll try to explain in a minute. But I have a fuel pressure gauge on each one of them. It tells me if both are getting the same fuel pressure. Instead of just having one down here, it tells me that there's that much fuel pressure coming to the carburetors. Now I know how much fuel pressure is getting to each one, or each side. And that has came in handy, because I done some stuff with this engine, tweaked a few things, fired it up, and I got looking at them, and one gauge was reading about a ½ pound off of what the other one was, and come to find out there was a little slow leak in one of these fittings that I didn't notice. And once it's tightened up, now both of them read the same. So it's good for spotting any inconsistencies between the carburetors, because we want them both to do the same. I'm not even going to make you suffer through the wheels, the mousetrap that went through my head, because if you heard the way my head thinks, sometimes you would think I was an absolute nut job, because the reason I went from the back of one to the front of the other, the front of the other one, the back of the other one, and blah, 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 and all that is because if there's any issues with fuel pressure, then one side gets more than the other side, or at least both carburetors are still getting some fuel, instead of one carburetor getting no fuel and the other carburetor getting fuel. So at least this way, my brain is going through this right now. At least this way, both carburetors still get some fuel. That way there's never a situation where one of them goes completely out, you know, and it's not an issue, but that's how my brain works sometimes. I will overcomplicate something in a heartbeat. So since these 2 ports here that I showed you earlier are side by side and one looks the same as the other, I just took a guess. I went and looked at the paperwork, and of course I'm backwards. This is the manifold vacuum, and that's the timed vacuum port. That's backwards. I want to put the distributor vacuum over on this side, the vacuum advance on manifold vacuum, not timed vacuum, which we never started up like this. I wanted to go look at the paperwork real quick. No harm, no foul. That's why we look at paperwork, right? Okay, so what we have here is an old Sticky Mickey ET Street that I ran drag week back in 2022. I hang on to some every once in a while for mock-up tires, and these old center lines that I had on the back of the wagon for a while. Now, I mounted this thing on here the other day with intention of we're going to put it on the back of this Galaxie just to see if a 275/60/15 will clear under the back of that car. Now, I think it should, but the internet's very divided on this issue. There's guys out there that swear not an issue, they'll run. The other guys out there go, they won't fit. There's just not enough room between the spring and the fender well. It's just not going to fit, or the quarter panel rather. It's just not going to fit. So we're just going to find out. We're going to stick one on there and see. Personally, I believe it comes down to the backspace and the wheel is what it's all about. And guys that know. So let's roll this out there and give this thing a try. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this out there. If you work for OSHA, you might want to turn your head, because we ain't got no OSHAs around here. Got a few lakes, but no OSHAs. If you never had a Galaxie before, the shape of this rear fender opening, or a quarter panel opening, it's almost like it's wearing a half skirt all the time. So you can a lot of times fit a bigger tire than you think you can on there. You just have to unhook the spring, drop the rear axle and all that, just to be able to get the tire on. Now, in this case, aftermarket springs and all, I know I can get that tire out if I just jack it up by the frame and not by the axle, and just let the axle droop. That is a 29.5, so we know it'll come out of there. Question is, will this 275/60 go in there? It is just absolutely a perfect day to be outside. Now, I am not in any way trying to run these old Mickey Thompsons. And try to get by with them. I am kind of a cheapskate, but I bought these tires used and I ran them back in 2022, so they've been around a minute is what I'm saying. I can already tell you, I think we're going to have a problem. I think this backspace is going to be a problem. Let me look behind these. See what kind of room we got. Oh, we got a mountain of room. We could go back. So if we had the right backspace on the rims, there's a bulge on that tire right there. All right, let's see what we're working with. I'll lose my lug nuts. Oh, I'm thinking it's not gonna fit with those wheels. The backspace on them is gonna be off. Let's see what we got. Let's take a look. Actually, you know what? It's not touching, but you got like a piece of paper worth of space in there. So if we roll that fender lip, we could probably be okay. We're nowhere near anything on the backside. First off, man, that looks good on the back of there, don't it? Whew. Dude, that looks real good on there. Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at it. Now, assuming the sun isn't right in the way, which it kind of is, you can see right here, it's tight, but it's not touching. And I can show you it's not touching by moving the car If I can do it with one hand. Yeah, it's not touching in there. But buddy, it's close. So I think if we just come in here and just roll this fender lip, we'd have plenty of space. And as far as on the back side goes, again, sunlight's the problem here. We've got all kind of room between the spring, and I can stick my hand in there. For a street tire, I mean, I know these aren't technically, but when I put a street tire on these wheels, that tells me that a 275/60 would be okay to run back here on the street. So here's an issue, but I'm gonna start jacking it up and we'll look at it together. Yeah, it never actually touches the tire, but she is close. And it's past the tire now. It's past the tire now. I can get my finger in there. So we do know that this will work. So if I come in here, make a relief cut right in here, and a relief right in here somewhere, and just slowly work this over and roll this lip right here, I can run these wheels with a 275/60/15. I don't know about y'all, but I think Hoosiers, these don't have them, but I think the Hoosier Riding has the best looking white letters in the business. Love the way they look. It may be better for me to try to find a set of used Mickey Thompson ET Streets and not have to swap tires and just run. I'd still want to swap the fronts, I think, instead of running skinnies on the front all week. I don't know. So here's my options. I need to find either a pair of 275/60/15 or similar street tires, put them on these center lines and run on them back, swap them out at the track to these and run these at the track. Be nice to find another, if I done that, another pair of center lines. I only have the two, a little skinnier, and put regular street tires on the front. Or I could find some more Mickey Thompson ET Streets or similar, some kind of DOT approved radial, and put on these wheels and just run them all week and not worry about it. I still kind of want to take the skinnies off the front in case we hit bad weather, because those are only 4-inch wide on the front. I could be backwards from a lot of people do, put some ET Streets on the back or similar, a drag radial type tire on the back, run it all week, and have a set of street tires and skinnies for the track and go that route. Not sure how I want to do the wheel tire combo yet. That is much debatable right now. It's much debatable right now. I kinda want to run a different set of wheels and tires for the street altogether, and run a different wheel and tire for the track. I don't see a bulge now. Oh yeah, I do. Right there it is. So here, boil it down. Here's my options. I can either replace all 4 wheels and tires and run something different for the street. I can leave the skinnies on the front put a set of different wheels or different tires on those wheels, swap rear wheels and tires, or I can just put a set of some kind of drag radial or something along those lines in like a 275/60 or whatever on the back and go that route. I'm not sure what the best answer is on wheel and tire yet. I've got 2 whole weeks to figure that out. So you guys will have to drop a comment and let me know what you think about the idea. Do I just leave the skinnies on the front for street and yeet and just put street tires on those wheels, swap out my rear tires all week? Do I swap all 4 tires to something a little more streetable and street friendly and just swap out wheels and tires all week? Do I just swap the fronts and put drag radials on the back all week? At the end of the day, I know a lot of people are, the first thing they're going to say, well, do you want to be swapping tires? I don't care. That doesn't bother me. It doesn't matter to me if I have to swap wheels and tires. Here's the deal. Street and yeet is a very laid-back drive and drag. I absolutely love street and yeet. There's plenty of time. It's not like I'm rushed to get from one place to other. There's plenty of time to sit around, chew the fat, shoot the breeze, swap wheels and tires, watch a few cars go down, then meander on down the road to the checkpoints. It's not like sick week or drag week or anything like that, where there's 7 or 8 checkpoints or whatever the case may be, 3, 4 checkpoints, and they're hours apart, and you've got 5, 6 hours of driving to the next stop and all. It's not really like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like you're forced for time constraints to have to hurry up and swap out tires. There's time. Plus the run order changes each day. So if you go first one day and you're going like 9, 10 o'clock that morning, I mean, gosh, you've got all day. The rest of the day, if you wanted to leave, you got the rest of that day, and maybe you'll run orders to the evening the next day, so you got almost all day the next day before you even have to get there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not rushed. I've got time to change tires if I want to. It's not that big a deal to swap tires. So if you take out the hassle of the convenience of not having to swap tires, which do you think makes more sense? Drop a comment and let me know. Next thing on the list will be to weld up these pieces of pipe, these little mufflers, and get those on the car. I'm not overly excited about putting mufflers on it. Car sounds too good with open headers, so I'm not overly excited about putting mufflers on it. I just don't like the way it sounds with mufflers on it. So, but I got to do it to be street legal. So. All right, so I decided once again I want to change something up a little bit. These little mufflers here, look how little they are. These little mufflers here that I was going to put on there originally, the idea was they were flared here on the end because I was going to make so they'd slip on and slip off, maybe even a clamp around here, and I could slip them on and off the collector at the track, so that when I go down the track, I'm not running mufflers. Despite what some people may think, mufflers do kill a lot of power in a car. Then I kind of went to that where I just said, screw it, I'm just going to weld them solid onto the collectors and they'll stay on there. It doesn't matter if it kills a little power, I ain't worried about it. And then I can always unbolt them at the flange at the collector and just take them off later, you know, after the drag and drive, blah, blah, blah. Well, I had another idea. So I don't know if this will work because I've never tried it. Now, some of you guys out there may do this all the time and it may just be common knowledge. It's not for me. So here's what I'm thinking I'm going to try. I'm going to steal something from Turbo Guys. I see a lot of the Turbo Guys when they make their hot side plumbing I don't know if they do it on cold side or not. Doesn't matter. When they make their plumbing for their turbos and all, they weld in these V-band connectors. I see them a lot on turbo applications. I can't think of a time I've ever seen anybody use them on actual exhaust, but why couldn't I? What I'm thinking is my collectors are about yay long, and I'm thinking about welding a V-band onto the back of the collector and welding a V-band on right here, and just having the V-band up here to put the exhaust on, V-band, take the exhaust off. I don't know if it'll work. I don't know if the heat right there on that V-band connector will screw it up, make it hard to take on and off. I don't know. I've never once in my life touched a V-band, so I don't know. I do know I ordered me 2 of them, and I'm going to try it, but I got to wait on them to get here. It's getting later in the afternoon now. Originally, my order is supposed to be here today. Tomorrow would be Sunday. We don't get deliveries on Sunday. Originally, it was supposed to be scheduled to be delivered today, and up till about an hour ago, it was still showing that it would be here today. Now they have changed the delivery date till Monday, so we'll just have to do those on Monday. So right now, I think we've accomplished everything we want to accomplish on the car. We know a 275/60/15 will fit under the back of it. It seems to start up, idle, and run just fine with a vacuum advance. Seems to rev just fine. We'll know once we drive it down the road how that really affects it. I kind of wanted to take it around the road now. I have a small issue in that there was a house right up the street from me that sold, and a state trooper bought it. That kind of hinders a lot of what I used to do around here. There goes all my street testing right out here, because I don't think he has a sense of humor. I don't know. Haven't met the guy. It's just every state trooper that I've managed to run into seem to take special classes on losing a sense of humor. I don't know if they do or not. But so that's going to limit that until I get the exhaust put on. So that should be here, not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow. Then I can button up the exhaust. And in theory, we should be ready to test the car a little bit. Street test car a little bit. I'm not worried about the car performing on the track, but we do need to get some street miles under it and make sure that it's going to perform like it's supposed to on the street. Y'all hang in there. We're going to get some street miles logged on this thing now, and probably in the future videos you see, at least for the next 2 weeks till street and yeet, that is going to be my daily driver. Probably not the greatest daily driver in the world, but that's going to be my daily driver. That way we can just hammer out any issues, any bugs it might have. And by the time street and yeet rolls around, we should have put enough miles on that thing that we would have been able to do street and yeet twice. So that's the idea. So we're going to start using it as a shop vehicle, shop truck, parts runner, parts chaser, go to the grocery store, whatever the case may be. That is turning into our daily driver for the next 2 weeks. If I pull out of this yard, it's going to be in that car, unless it's raining, because, well, I still haven't put wipers on it, and I'm probably not going to put wipers on it. We may Rain-X the windshield just in case we get caught in some rain, but that's looking like that's just going to be how it is. So, got to move around a couple things in here. I moved a lot of stuff around when I was doing some, let's say, remodeling around here, and I got to move some things back around so we can pull the car back in here, and hopefully tomorrow do some welding and get the exhaust put on here. If you have not been made aware in this video, we are making some changes around the shop. When you look out this door here, we have now graded all the way up to the wood line. Moved a lot of dirt, as you can see, and have started moving our junk pile, parts cars all in one little area, and there's going to be a fence now that runs across here, a privacy fence. But we're trying to get everything kind of buttoned up around here, made nicer, and get some more space. Got to have more space around here so I can get more projects finished and more projects done. And one thing I need this to go back to being able where I can put 2 vehicles in here all the time. And with everything we've got stuffed in here and stored in here, and parts we got piled in here, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 10 engines sitting right over here. You know, all that takes up space. So trying to do a little grading around here, trying to move little things around where we can add some storage space around here, a parts area around here, and store these engines and stuff in them, as well as, not to mention, I don't even know how many transmissions sitting around here, but we're trying to get all that stuff so that it empties this space out, and I can make better videos for y'all. Is what it's basically going to come down to, and more space for me to do that with. So it happens, you know, it's a necessary evil. And that's the reason why in this video you see us doing a lot of work on the Galaxie sitting out there, because I've moved a lot of stuff around in here so that I could do a lot of work out there and a lot of work over there. Not only is it graded out in front of the shop here, we've graded out a lot of space over here on the side of the shop as well. A lot has changed, and we're trying to make it a lot more, let's say, user-friendly around here. And we've got 2 weeks to street and yeet, which is going to be kind of the last hurrah this year for the Galaxie. It's going to be kind of the last event we do with it. Now, on nice days, I'm probably going to drive it around a little bit, because I have taken time to tag it, insure it, make it street legal. So I'm probably going to drive it around a little bit on some nice days over the winter, because we really don't get terrible winters around here. We'll get a week or 2 of real cold weather here and there. But for the most part, unless it's just a terrible winter, I mean, we'll probably end up being in the 50s. And honestly, 50s ain't cold to me. I'm a t-shirt kind of guy in the 50s. It's got to get low 40s before it really starts feeling cold to me. And anything below that, anything 40s, I probably won't take the car out, just because I don't really want to deal with frosty windshields and all that stuff. But over the winter, if she's 50 degrees or better, we probably driving a Galaxie over the winter, just because it's tagged and insured. So, but as far as events, street and yeet is probably going to be the last event that we do of the year. So get the car ready for that, get that knocked out, and then we've got the Jeep will finish up, and the Jeep will be out of here and done by the end of the year. And then that lull, that dead time in the winter between the end of the year and, you know, when it starts warming up again, I think we'll get right back to this old girl right here and do something with it, because I've got some plans for it and some ideas for it, and I want to try some things with that. So that will probably happen over the dead part of the winter. So as I said, thank you guys for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, doing all that thing. Now, I will take care of some business right here at the end of this video. Doesn't pertain to everybody. I'm just going to put this out there in the universe, and if you want to do something with it, or if you know somebody, then you just pass it along. I've never had really any kind of sponsorship deal with anybody as far as actual help to do an event. If anyone knows anyone that would like to chip in some sponsorship for Street and Yeet, there will be an email address in the description. They can reach out to me. What I mean is, I still have to put street tires on the back of this car. At very least, the back of this car alone. So that's going to be some money. You know what I'm saying? I still have to pay for fuel for Street and Yeet. That's going to be some money. You know what I'm saying? So if there is anyone out there that would like to help out and do any of this, I'll put my email description, or my email in the description of this video. Also, you can consider there is a members only. You can join the members only. That's 99 cents a month, as little as 99 cents a month. You can join higher if you want to, but as little as 99 cents a month. Members only always gets early access to the videos. I'll try to do some different perks later if I can, but as of right now, members only really just gets early access to the videos, like a day early. That's really what it is. The easiest way is sharing these videos, because more videos, the more views the video gets, the more we make off YouTube. So just views in general helps out. There's a ton of ways that people can help out with that. Outside of just cold hard cash. I know everybody don't have cash laying around, but if there is anyone that would like to participate and help us out with the cost of street and yeet, just let us know. We would be grateful for that. Again, fuel. The biggest expenses we'll have during street and yeet will be the cost of fuel and hotel rooms. If we go that route, we probably will stay at least a couple of nights in the hotel rooms. A few nights we'll probably just throw a sleeping bag on the ground beside the car and just sleep on the ground beside the car. That also depends upon the weather. You never know what the weather is going to be like in the South in November. It may be 60 degrees. It may be 30 degrees. You never know. So a lot of how I travel and sleep will depend upon the weather. If I look at the weather and it's supposed to be 50 or warmer, then I'll throw a sleeping bag on the ground and I'll sleep beside the car. If it's supposed to be in the 40s or lower, then I'll probably get a hotel room. Hotel rooms do cost money. So if anyone, again, not saying anyone has to or feel obligated to, but if anyone would like to help us out with any of the travel costs associated with street and yeet, hit that email up and let us know. It wasn't cheap getting the car ready for street and yeet. It's just one of those things. I try to limit any money I put out on this stuff to the money that YouTube brings in. And I will say over the last couple months, that has not been the case, because we put out a lot more money than what YouTube has brought in. Probably about 5 times the amount of money that YouTube brings in. So I'm definitely put myself in a hole over the last couple of months getting the car ready. But the car, to my knowledge, other than just putting some version of street tires on it and putting the exhaust on it, it is ready to go. We will know more once we start driving it around. Lord willing, it is ready to go. Number 2, I would like to ask people's opinion on something. I want to put a lift in. I want to put a lift in, and I want opinions on this now. My first thought, and I've graded all this area out in front of the shop. My first thought was to dig down and put if you watched the last video, I talk about it some, dig down and put a pad out in front of the shop on this lower side, in front of this lower door, and put a lift outside and just have a lift outside and still have 2 car bays inside with nothing in them, and have a lift outside. So if I put something on a lift, I'd be outside working on it. That is my first thought. There's no reason I couldn't put one on the inside on that thing, on this side. There's no reason I couldn't. The ceiling, the walls on this thing is 16 foot high, so I've got the space. My problem with putting one inside is a guy that's never personally owned a lift. I've always worked on the ground. I don't know how much real estate it takes up that I have to work around on a daily basis when I'm not using it. Now, I'm kind of, right now with all the stuff I've got over there, I'm kind of limited to this one side and this one bay anyway, so it probably wouldn't be any different. But my mind says I might want to set it outside and pour a pad. But I'm not opposed to putting it inside on this side. I want to know your thoughts on that. Also, secondly, 4-post versus 2-post. I know there's guys out there that are fanatics about, oh, this one or this one or this one or this one. I like the idea of a 4-post better than a 2-post. I'm sure some people can educate me on these things. I like the idea of a 4-post because some of the 4-posts that I've seen people using online, like Derek, the one he has on Vice Grip, it still has the jack that slides under it that he can pick the front end, the back end up. He can do things like that. So it doesn't seem to hinder any of the wheel and tire stuff. I like the idea. A lot of the stuff I do requires the weight to be on the suspension, to set suspension parts up. It's sitting on a 4-post lift. You can get under it and do that stuff. I like the idea of a 4-post. I really do. The only thing I see the benefit of a 2-post, and maybe I'm missing something here. You guys let me know. The only benefit I see to the 2-post versus the 4-post is like if you're taking a body off or something. But I never really do that. And if I do that, I can't even think of a time I've taken the body off anything other than maybe a Volkswagen, and a couple guys get together and we pick it up and set it off. We've taken truck beds off, and I'll call a buddy over here, and a couple of us pick the truck bed up and set it off. So it's not like I can justify a 2-post for taking a body or a bed or something off when it's something that very rarely happens. So I don't know. You guys let me know which way is better, and if I'm missing something there. I'm thinking I kind of want a 4-post. The only thing that really holds me back is cost. Again, my YouTube doesn't make a ton of money. I'm not big like some of these other guys is, so it's something I'm having to throw a $20 bill in an envelope every once in a while and save up for, which the 4-post is more expensive than a 2-post, so it may end up being a 2-post just out of cost. And that circles me around to the final question I'm going to ask. I see a billion different brands, makes, types, and all this of lifts. Is there any real significance between the ones that are priced here and the ones that are priced here? I mean, is a lift a lift a lift a lift? You know what I'm saying? Are they all the same? Really, the only difference is, say, the motor, or something that could be swapped out later down the road? Or is it one of these where, no, if you're going to get a lift, you really should spend the money because this one, because these will break and kill you? Is that the difference? Because honestly, if the ones that are priced down here work just as good as the ones up here, and there's no greater risk of death down here than there is up here, then I don't know why I would spend the money for the real big name brand. You understand what I'm saying? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. See, y'all educate me on the lift stuff. Outside of that, God bless y'all. I hope the Lord bless you more today than he did yesterday. To him be all the glory, guys. We will see you on the next one, which will be getting us close to Street and Yeet.
I'd say it's a nut job.